Hey everyone, how you doing today? As mentioned, the daily financial news. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Greg Dickerson, back for his weekly series. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Michael.
Eh,
Can't tell you where I'm coming to you from, but I'm here.
It's a secret location.
Yeah, that map goes with me everywhere I
There
go.
we go. That's right. You just travel with it. That's hilarious. Hey, so I wanted to talk about. I just want people to realize, I really there's a downside coming for the cancel rent culture, right? Cancel rent has gotten a lot of press. It's going on, frankly, across the country. But as we've seen with the CDC order getting kicked out in Texas, Ohio, and DC, likely not to be extended. Knock on wood. Even if it does get extended, it will end eventually. And I just want to talk about what happens after, right? As a landlord, and as other landlords have talked to me, we are going to change our business model. And I'm here to tell you that tenants are probably not going to like it. So that's what I want to talk about today, is just paint the picture of what is coming to tenants because of this cancel rent culture. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. So the first thing I want to talk about, and again, we'll go through all kinds of different subjects here, is first off, the availability or inventory or quantity or whatever you want to call it of available affordable housing is going to go down and could go down substantially. Because right now, I believe it's like 70% of single family homes or residential units, which are 4 and below, are owned by mom and pop. Mom and pop landlord is somebody who owns less than 10 homes. A lot of them have been roughed up over the last 18 months by tenants and the government. And if they've been able to hold out, they're going to, some of them, and perhaps many of them are going to get to the other side of this and go, I'm done. So what does I'm done look like? I'm done could mean sell it as is, which again, as a business owner, you know, is going to get you a fire sale price. So probably not likely. What they're going to be selling into what is an environment of very low inventory. So what they're going to do is they're going to give their tenant a 30 or 60 or 90-day notice to vacate, which is their right based on however long they've been there. They will then remodel the house and they will sell it to an owner occupant. So if you're an owner occupant, congratulations, because of cancel rent, you're going to have some more homes hit the market. But if you are a tenant and for whatever reason you can't buy a home, don't have the down payment, the credit, don't want to buy a home, there's lots of people that don't want to, you're going to have a lot less to choose from. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think, well, just with the market where it is now, people are selling that can.
Yeah.
So it just makes a lot of sense. I mean, I have a lot of neighbors that are all, selling and they're going to go rent, for a little while because the market is so hot. It's like, man, I'd be crazy not to. So that's a big thing, from the landlord standpoint. Yeah, it's especially for the more affordable housing stock. I think a lot of them have been scarred and they're looking at, cashing in right now. So, I've got some clients that I'm coaching that had some properties in their portfolio and they just liquidated them all.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just sticking with the cash play right now or buying bigger assets.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's going to have a lasting effect. And I think from a tenancy standpoint, what you're going to see is landlords are going to be requiring, bigger and more deposits. They're going to look a little bit deeper and harder into people's backgrounds, credit history, calling their previous references. So, if there's a tenant listing and you're playing the no pay rent game, just understand that's going to follow you because you're going to have to give references, when you leave somewhere. Anybody that's leaving a rental right now and going somewhere else, people are looking at that going, okay, there's got to be a reason here. And they're going to dig in a little bit more and then the landlords are they're going to pursue people and file judgments and things like that. And that follows you around, sticks with you. So, it's very difficult times. And, the tricky part is there are people that are genuinely hurting. And then there's people that are just playing the game. And some of my clients have big complexes where tenants gathered together and created their own little group of
Mm-hmm.
cancel rent for the entire complex,
Yep.
just because they could and, just playing that game. So, it's a tricky little thing. And there's a delicate balance there between need and, between intent.
Yeah.
And, so it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Well, it's going to play out. It's going to end. It will end this year. Will end next year. I can't tell you that, but it will end. And you're absolutely right. Not only is supply of affordable homes going to go down, but that's where I was going next. The
Mhm.
tenant who needs to rent next year or the year after, get ready to pay up and be scrutinized. because there'll be a lot of people that tried to play the game this year that will simply get a no answer.
Mhm.
They just will get a no answer, which means you have to look for that lazy landlord that's not checking, or you have to go partner up with someone with a better history, or you're going to have to down select. If you want to go to Class A, you have to go down. There
You got to
is,
go where they'll take anybody, and they don't
yeah,
care. They'll just get you in however they can get you in. But the other thing for landlords too is I think what's going to come out of all this is going to be a lot more rent controls. A lot more tenant friendly laws are going to be passed in a lot of states. Especially with this forbearance or rent vacation abatement vacation that's just been overturned by the courts. I think
mhm,
some of these legislatures now are going to try to change the laws, that be more tenant friendly, give more leeway to tenants, and
mhm,
make it more difficult on landlords to raise rents, file collections and things
mhm.
like that.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal, right? So back to point number two, right? I think you can expect, as you said, higher deposits. I think you're going to expect higher rents because landlords are going to need to cover the risk that they didn't plan for before. But here's another one. Here's number three. Uh, I've actually talked to many landlords that are like, if this is so funny, for years, the goal has been to get a 2 or 3 year lease, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
turnover is a big deal. I've talked to many landlords owning thousands of units now, and they're like, Michael, I give up. I'm just going to go month to month on everybody from day one because you have more flexibility out of it on a month to month lease. You're like, oh, we both part ways after 30 days. Bye bye. So it's funny. You're going to be more at risk as a tenant because you will not get your leases because of this cancel rent idea. So
Yeah,
lots of
that's
changes
interesting. I
coming.
talked to somebody the other day, and they only want multi-year leases. So they
Yeah,
don't like to do short term. They want multi-year leases,
I
which
agree.
which is interesting. Different type of tenancy there, and different thing. But there's also, like you say, advantages to the month-to-month thing. There's advantages to turnkey furnished short-term rentals.
Yeah.
And even weekly. So like I advise a lot of my clients that were having collection issues. I said, look, go into a weekly payment system for your people that are getting behind, and let them pay a little something every week
Mm-hmm.
instead of having to go every month or twice a month or whatever. A little bit easier for them to pay a little bit each week than a big number every month right
Mm-hmm.
out of their paycheck.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I would love, I mean, again, these landlords that I'm talking to, they would love to do multi-year leases. And that was their modus operandi. That's what they did. But they're like, when they're looking at the new rules and all these other things coming, they're like, we're going month to month. And yes, that
Yeah.
many of them are going to suffer turnover because some people will take advantage of it, right? They'll move in for a month and leave. And that just sucks. But they're
Yeah.
like, they're going to take that risk versus, because again, rules change when you're there a year and a day for evictions and all of that. So yeah, they're just going to do month to month. So lots of changes coming for tenants. Being a landlord's a business.
Mm-hmm.
And the last year and a half, 2 years has been different for the business. So what I want you to realize is landlords will change. They will sell, they'll get out, some will exit. Others who choose to stay in will raise their standards, right? Because again, as a landlord, you have the right to define the box. Maybe before, for example, you took a 620 credit score. Maybe going forward, you take 680. It's your right. You can say that. So it's going to be much harder. Rents are going to go up. Deposits are going to go way up. And I think you're going to look at a lot more short-term leases. Landlords got to change. It's been rough. They've been beaten up unfairly. And their time is coming and landlords are going to come back, I think.
Yeah. And it goes both ways. I mean, what's happened to everybody is just, a lot of people again are honestly in bad positions, lost their jobs, things like that. So,
Mhm.
it's just been crazy. What we need to do is just get all this done, get it behind us. Everybody get your vaccines
Yeah.
so that we can get open back up and just get back to, the business as usual and get it all behind us and, move forward again. So that's the key right there.
Yeah, no, I agree. We got to get this behind us. Knock on wood, it happens this year, hopefully.
Yeah, and San Francisco was in the news. I mean, you guys are open for business and, have
Yeah.
the lowest case rate in the country or something. I can't remember. I saw something over the weekend about San Francisco just
Yeah.
leading the charge in terms of, getting back open.
Yeah, they're definitely leading. And again, I will I always I think I always bash Gavin Newsom. I'll give him credit for that one. If the guy at the top is you blame when something bad happens, you got to give him a little credit when something good happens. So that's it. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you
Congratulations.
guys were the first to lock down and you're the first to come out of it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. So again, this is just landlords are going to snap back, right? Some will sell. But again, I think landlords will look at this situation and they will adjust their business models, which will mean higher deposits, higher rents, and I think a lot more short-term leases because that's just what's coming. So, any other closing thoughts on this?
No, but again, could create opportunities. So
Hmm.
burnout landlords, great opportunity for investors looking to buy. The market's red hot right now. It's not going to last
Agreed.
forever. Rates are going up. Inflation is upon us. So I guess we're talking about that in the next episode. So, where there's a problem, there's always an opportunity. So keep your
Amen to
eyes out
that.
there.
I am looking for every frustrated landlord that owns it free and clear, so we can do seller financing. That's what I'm trying to do.
That's like, so you're like the crypto guys, man. YouTube and pumping it up, they'll pump and dump. So you're going to
Yeah.
pump up, man. You're not going to want to be a landlord. It's going to be
No,
terrible. You can't
terrible.
collect rent. The
Sell to
law,
me.
sell now. I'll buy it.
Exactly. Exactly. Hey, man, thank you very much. I look forward to episode number 3.